Hello everyone, it's RASA von Werder from the University of Mother God Church. RASA von Werder. I noticed that in the transcript section, if you hit the three buttons and you hit transcript, they're really murdering my name. And so I'm saying it clearly. I am also known as Kellie Everts, the lady who strips for God and dances to save men's souls. They're going to do a movie and a possibility of a television series or a series of movies about my entire life, which is very colorful, eventful, dramatic, and noteworthy. I want to talk about a few characters in my life, and a lot of them in my life have been hurtful characters, but it hasn't been boring, if you know what I mean. That is my exoneration for this, you might say, shopping list of torturers, is that is the way life is. They say, if you count the true friends you have at the end of your life and you come up with, 5 or even 3, these are true, die-hard, ride or die, they call them, friends. I've had more than 3. I've had more than 5. I've probably had 10. But I have had experiences with so many people, and I've done so many things, that it's like I've gone through the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's been so many experiences. And pearls are a symbol of when you become wise through experience. And pearls of wisdom, see? So you live and you learn. And that's why people such as myself, the elders, who have lived a long, rich life, not the ones that sat in their rocking chair their whole life and watched television and just worked at a 9-to-5 job and did nothing else, got married a couple times, maybe had some children, but never did anything unusual or different, or went out. And there are people who have lived humdrum lives, who never embarked upon any new territories or did anything unusual or different or new. They didn't experience as much. So okay, so they wouldn't be wise, like have pearls of wisdom. They might have some knowledge, because you can't help but live and experience something. Everyone, when you go through your grades, remember when you were in grade 3, 4, 5, 5th grade, and then you were in the 12th grade, how much smarter you were with each year that went by. Well, with each year, with each relationship, with each person you meet, even each television show you watch, let's face it, you learn. I've been watching things on YouTube, and I saw things that I said, oh my goodness, I have learned something. Sometimes it's how crazy people are, how stupid people are, how ignorant people are, how manipulative people are, how manipulative people torture the good. I mean, that's what I saw yesterday when I watched TV. I saw some reality shows. I saw a reality show where it's, what was the name of it? Loved and Locked Up or something, or Locked Up in Love or some crap like that. And these people who have partners who were in jail, are in jail, keep going back to jail, and it's the partner that suffers the most. And like I saw one woman who was obviously a junkie. She's very beautiful, but she's a junkie, and she's manipulating her boyfriend, or blue-eyed. She's dark, he's blue-eyed, middle-aged, older, over 60. She's like 40, and she's manipulating him and running him, making him jump through hoops and hurting him and manipulating and calling him names, and he's just staring at her body because her boobs are so big and she's so attractive, and he wants her, and she's using him, and and I learned something. And then I saw other women that had boyfriends who kept going to jail, and the woman stays home and the woman keeps having children, and as soon as he gets out of jail, instead of seeing her and her child, he runs around with another woman. And well, I learned something. I saw clearly how druggies hurt people because they're desperados. They're like criminals. They're addicted. They're possessed by drugs. So whoever they latch on to, they use them. They don't have to be like that. They don't have to, but they want to be like that, And then I also saw again on channel, the National Geographic channel has a lot of vivid, revealing stories about drug addicts, and you could see people that are attractive people, men and women, but they're addicted to drugs, and they will sit under a bridge, men and women, they will sit under a bridge with their partners and friends and go out and hustle, beg, clean windows of cars, just like in the Bowery in New York City. When I used to live in the city, I used to drive down the Bowery, and the alcoholics would run out and clean your window hoping for a tip for alcohol. So all they could do was drink. So these people now, in many areas, they are so out of it that they can't even function normally. They hustle. Either some of the women do prostitution, some of the women beg and borrow, not borrow. They hustle. It's called hustling, when you stop cars and you beg for money and you clean their window, and they have cleaners. They have cleaners, swidgies and all that. And they pick up at the end of the day like $60, $70, $80, and they can get either, they were showing people that were high on methamphetamine, which I guess is a big thing now. And so I'm learning by watching these, and I've been seeing this for years. I'm learning how desperate drug addicts are. They would rather live under a bridge, assuming that it's not probably, this was in areas that were not quite as cold as New York, upstate New York. So we don't have too many people living under bridges and in alleys but there are homeless people who live outside all year or in some makeshift shelters. But it clearly shows you that once a person is a bad addict, they would rather live on the streets and prostitute and hustle than work to stop being an addict and lead a regular, normal life. They're beyond logic. They are so sick, and they will hurt people. If you know an addict, and you're not an addict, because addicts stick together sometimes, if they have money, they help each other obtain drugs. So it's not always they're complete derelicts, but this National Geographic shows you the complete derelicts in Las Vegas and in other areas. Some of the areas are cold, and you see them in an alley, under a bridge, or in some spot where they can hide, and they're shooting up methamphetamine, and they're shooting up heroin, and they're doing cocaine, and they will do anything for their drug. Once a person is a drug addict, I could see that. These people on the street, they weren't particularly hurting anyone, but in this show that I saw, people that were in relationship, addicts and most of the people that kept going in and out of jail, they were addicts. They kept going back for committing crimes related to drug use or the drug use itself. They would boomerang, back in jail, back in jail, back in jail, back in jail. And they would depend on this person who loves them And it just ripped my heart out to see what they put these people through, their partner. Two of them were men partners, and the women were the manipulators. And my God, you could see the women torturing them. They were torturing them, torturing them, torturing them. And then the guys were torturing the women, the guys that went in and out of jail. You know, they were getting them pregnant. They're going fooling around as soon as they get out of jail. Instead of doing the right thing, they mess around with other women. They're promising other women. They already got a wife with 2 kids, and he's promising another woman he's going to marry her. It's so, okay. So even people who just watch television or read their computer, they can be learning today. Today, we don't learn just from relationships and experiences. We can learn. I taught myself something. Yeah, you can learn plenty. The old days, you read books. You know, you read books. Now you look at television and YouTube and you learn. All right, to be continued. I didn't even begin on my subject, but to be continued.